So you want to start a video podcast, but you have no idea where to start. You want to know the best equipment that you need to use, how to record on that equipment, and how to get your video podcast out there for the world to see. My name is James, and I've been doing podcasting and video podcasting for the last 5 years. And in this video, I want to give you 4 tips that you need to know in order to start your video podcast. Let's jump right into it. The first tip is to choose your format. This is the simple layout of what your podcast is going to look like. Are you a one-person show, or are you going to have somebody with you doing the podcast? And if somebody is with you, are you going to be doing the podcast in person, or will you be doing the video podcast virtually? These are things that you need to think of as you get your video podcast started, so that you can make sure that you have the right setup for your setup. Yeah, this is going to make the difference between whether you need 1 camera or 2 cameras or 1 mic or 2 mics. And if you're trying to get all fancy and stuff, you might need like 4 mics or 4 cameras and have all these different camera angles and all that kind of stuff. But however you want to do it, make sure that you just have a clear idea of what it looks like. If you are a beginner, I would suggest doing a 1-person type of podcast. That way you only need limited amount of equipment, especially if you don't have much money or stuff like that to get your podcast started. But if you balling like that and you can get multiple cameras and multiple microphones and all that kind of stuff, that's great. Which leads me to my next point. Make sure that you are gathering the right equipment. If you're just getting started, 3 things that you need for sure. You need a good camera, a good microphone, and a good tripod. You need a good camera because this is a video podcast. If you want to do a video podcast, you want to make sure that you have the best image that you can get. And if you're watching this video, you probably already have the best camera that you can actually have to get started, and that's simply using your phone. Most of us have some type of new phone. I would say, man, if you have like an iPhone like 8 and above, even if you don't use it as your main phone, you still have a good camera. Most of those older phones or Androids, even around the same age, have 4K. They have a lot of different features that are in your phone that can really just make it look really good for you. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be fancy and record in 4K and do all the kind of stuff, but what I am saying is that most of our phones that we are holding or that are in our pockets right now are great cameras to start with. And then your microphone, you need a really good mic to get started. If you're watching this, maybe you've already started some type of podcast that's on platforms like Apple Music or Spotify, and maybe you already have a good mic. This microphone right here is the Rode Pod mic. It's about $100. It's a great microphone to start with. This microphone right here is the Rode NT USB Mini. This one's pretty cool because you can actually hook it up to your phone through the USB. And I know for most of the newer iPhones and of course for the Androids, there's the USB-C port that you can actually just straight up plug this into, and you can record straight into your phone, and it makes it easy. I have a video on this channel about 3 good microphones that are under $100. 2 of them can actually hook directly up to your phone, so you can check out that video in the description below. And then the tripod. You really need a good tripod because you don't want your phone just flopping all over the place, trying to lean in on some books or trying to like hang it from the ceiling fan or something crazy like that. No, just get a tripod, spend some money on it, or you don't even have to get like a really expensive one, but just get something that can hold your phone and keep it steady so that you can just kind of be free to not worry about that and simply look at the camera and just present your content for the world to hear and see, because I mean, this is a video podcast, you know what I'm saying? One thing I would say, if you're using your phone as your main camera, that you do need some type of clamp or some type of adapter that can actually hold your phone. This is the Joby adapter that kind of came with my Gorilla grip that I used to use. It's just simple. You just put your phone in there, you click it in there you go, and then you're able to put this on a tripod. I obviously cannot show you my tripod because I'm currently using it at the moment, but I will leave links down in the description for a really good tripod that I really like to use. And of course, there are many out there, so just find one that fits in your budget, and it's just something simple that you can put your phone on. And just a side note, on this channel, we talk about the best way to create content. And so if you're looking for what kind of cameras to use for your podcast, what kind of cameras to use for your YouTube, what kind of microphones, what kind of equipment and stuff, man, this is a channel for you. So if you're interested in any of that type of content, make sure that you are subscribed, and leave a comment down below. Let me know about some questions you may have about the best way for you to create content. Tip number 3 is to start recording. I know that seems like a simple tip, but I'm telling you, you have to start recording your video podcast if you're going to have a video podcast. Here's the thing about it, man. When you add a camera, it adds another element of like anxiety or fear to some people. The idea of getting in front of a camera and presenting yourself, putting yourself out there in the world, letting people see your face and see who you are and what you look like. I mean, it can be nerve-wracking. I get it. But if this is something that you feel you need to do or that you want to do, and you have a message that the world needs to hear, this might be a step to help your podcast get even further out there and spread even more so that more people can hear what you have to say. If you're just getting started, man, your first videos are not going to be your best videos. I've heard it said that your first videos are going to be your worst videos. So don't focus too much on how things look. Of course, you want stuff to look nice, but don't allow that to keep you from recording and getting your message out to the world. And recording is simple, especially if you're using your phone. Just press record on your phone. Like I said earlier, if you have a microphone like this one right here, you can just plug it up straight to your phone. That way you're getting good audio and you're getting good video, because those are the 2 most important parts to a video podcast. And then you need to edit your videos. A software that I like to use is DaVinci Resolve. This is a free software that is amazing. Where I work, me and a coworker of mine do editing for our church, and so we actually stopped using our Adobe, I think Final Cut Pro, and we actually started using DaVinci. We actually used the free version for a while before we actually started paying for it. This is a great tool. It's a great way to get started with actually editing, especially if you're trying to edit on your computer. It has a lot of great tools that can help you edit quicker and help you have a high quality edit, especially if you're bringing in good quality content from your phone. Man, this is a great platform to use. I'll leave a link down in the description so you can get started with that today. And a bonus tip, which is kind of a no-brainer, is to make sure that you are uploading your video podcast. And in my opinion, the best place to upload it is on YouTube. YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine, and people are on there all the time looking for specific types of videos. I mean, you're here now because you were looking for this specific type of video. So if you're creating content that people need, find a way to record it and get it on YouTube. And the interesting thing about doing a video podcast is that not only can you put your long form video podcast on there, whether it be 30 minutes or an hour, you can actually take that same content and make short form videos that you can post on like YouTube Shorts, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And so having a video podcast provides multiple opportunities for your podcast and your brand or your channel or your whatever to grow into something bigger than it could if it was just on platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Now, I know this all sounds like a lot, but I promise you, if you get into it, it's going to benefit you, and you stay consistent, it's going to benefit you as well. But what if I told you that there was an easier way to even do this? What if I told you that there's a way that you can make a video podcast without editing at all? So if it sounds like something that interests you, click this video right here and I'll tell you how to make that happen. We'll see you over there.